everybody. I'm back. Thank you very much for coming tonight and taking time out of your day to come check us out here at Beach Bistro with Rocky Mountaineer and Ponant. So I just wanted to say thank you again. And tonight I want you to know who I have with my team. I have Jenna, who is our receptionist and our go-to gal for everything that we do in our office. Right behind her is Jamie. She's one of our travel advisors. We have Colleen Holtz as one of our travel advisors, and Stacy Camarelli, our travel advisor. We have Jennifer Fitzgerald, who is my COO. She takes care of everything in my office that you could possibly imagine. God bless you, Jenna. That's all I can say. All right, this evening, also I want to introduce you to Tom and Jose. They're from 100 Consulting Group, and they are not only our website guys, our marketers, and we are also videotaping tonight. So for anybody that has wanting to see this, that they might have missed it, you could tell them and we can actually email over the video to them. So it'll be the presentation, it'll be on our website, and I know that they put up snippets on Facebook and TikTok, whatever. Yeah, that's not my jam. But you might see me up on a lot of Facebook things, I'm just never on it, for sure, because we're way too busy doing travel, which we love to do. So without further ado, I'm going to start with Josh from Rocky Mountaineer. So once again, thank you so much for coming tonight. I know you're really going to enjoy this presentation. And thank you, Liam Hulse. You did a great job, honey. Thank you. How are you doing, Josh?
All right. Well, thank you very much for the introduction. And again, thank all of you for coming out this evening. Now, just quick show of hands. How many people in here have been on Rocky Mountaineer before? All right. Perfect. That's the kind of crowd I like because I want to tell you all about the incredible things that Rocky Mountaineer can do with an incredible vacation experience. So for those of you in this room that have not heard of us before, Rocky Mountaineer has been around for 34 years. We are the most awarded privately held luxury train company in the world. We specialize in luxury train travel by daylight in the Canadian Rockies and now the American Southwest. So I have some incredible slides to show you today that'll showcase what we do on board the train, as well as some of the incredible destinations that we travel through while we're going on these incredible rail routes. Now, just to zoom in a little further into where we're operating, it's the Canadian Rockies and the American Southwest. So our trains run on a few different routes between Vancouver, British Columbia, and over to Alberta, to Jasper and Lake Louise and Banff in the Canadian Rockies. All those points you see on the map are actually stops where we overnight. And I said earlier, it's all daylight travel. So that means we're never sleeping on board the train. We're actually overnighting in hotels. So what we do is we package up our train experience with some incredible hotels and some sightseeing options in the different destinations that we're traveling to. And then in 2021, we introduced a new route in the American Southwest, which we call Rockies to the Red Rocks. And that runs between Denver, Colorado and Moab, Utah. I've been working with Rocky Mountaineer now for 9 years. So I've been on the train quite a few times, and I can tell you, you can't go wrong with any of the different routes that we have. They're all quite incredible and have incredible scenery and beautiful sights and incredible things to do in the destinations. And the new route in the US is absolutely spectacular. Now, I do have a brief video that I do want to share to show you what this experience looks like in action, because it's really hard to put it into words until you see the train rolling down the tracks in these beautiful destinations. So here we go.
That's the pouch. What's the pouch? Here we got the pouch.
Oh, and
We did not get.
we didn't get this one, which is the main one.
We have to go back and just double check.
Those are the only ones that that's what was put in there. I'm wondering if it's like on another truck or it'll be here.
I don't know. It's out.
Yeah.
She didn't get that.
Okay, I'll tell my mailing now.
Yeah, just so you know.
It's saying because
I know.
the zoning is only 20. I don't want to refer to it and have them say it's out of my mouth. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's a heavy piece anyway. It's a heavy piece. It's a fat book.
So that gives you a really nice overview of what it looks like on board. You see the stunning scenery, those incredible images, and the beautiful train cars themselves as we're rolling through those incredible destinations. So I want to go a little bit deeper into the different rail routes that we offer. So I'll start with Canada. In the Canadian Rockies, there's 3 different rail routes that Rocky Mountaineer is operating on. The first one is called the First Passage to the West. This is a really iconic train route for our brand. It's the first route that Rocky Mountaineer started operating on in 1990. It's also pretty unique because we are the only passenger train that operates on these tracks between Kamloops, Lake Louise, and Banff. So it's really the only way to get to Lake Louise or Banff by rail is with Rocky Mountaineer. So it's a pretty unique experience in that sense. It also has a lot of incredible highlights on the journey. You kind of go from this Pacific Northwest rainforest climate in Vancouver into an arid desert landscape in Kamloops, and then onward into those Canadian Rockies and Lake Louise and Banff. And the train does stop in both destinations. We let off first in Lake Louise and then go onward to Banff. It's about an hour and 20 minutes in between. This route is my personal favorite, so if we do have any trivia questions later, remember that one. This is my personal favorite route. I just really like the buildup of the scenery you get between Kamloops and Banff and Lake Louise as you're kind of climbing in elevation and really getting into the Canadian Rockies. Now, all of our routes do operate both eastbound and westbound, so it's very flexible. The trains go back and forth throughout the region, so you could start in Banff or you could start in Vancouver. Another incredible route we have is called the Journey Through the Clouds. Now, this one's a little bit different. It does start or end in Vancouver, but this one goes a little bit north. Goes through Kamloops and then up into Jasper. Jasper National Park is another spectacular destination to start or end your journey and offers a lot of great scenery. One of the highlights on this route is Mount Robson, which is actually the highest mountain peak in the region that we're passing through, and you get to see that right from the train between Kamloops and Jasper that second day. And then the third route that we have is called the Rainforest to Gold Rush. This is a 3-day rail route. So the other ones were 2-day routes. This is a 3-day route. So the first day is Vancouver to Whistler. We overnight in Whistler. That's a short day. It's only a few hours up to Whistler, and you arrive around lunchtime, and you have that whole day and that evening in Whistler. The next day, we would go up to Quesnel. Quesnel is known as kind of the gold rush capital of British Columbia. So it's got a lot of gold rush history up there. It's an old mining town. And then we go from Quesnel over to Jasper on that third day. And what's great is once you get down to Jasper, you don't have to end the trip there and fly home. We actually do sightseeing excursions that go down to Banff and Lake Louise, and then you could fly back from Calgary, or we could transfer you from Jasper to Edmonton Airport if you do want to end the journey there. So we've got some flexibility in these packages that you'll see in the brochure and on the slides today. Now, with the levels of service, we've got 2 incredible levels of service that we offer on our trains in the Canadian Rockies. The most iconic level of service we have is called Gold Leaf. So this is the double-level train car that's got the upper level with that huge glass dome of windows going over the top. The lower level is the dining car, and that's where you go downstairs for breakfast and lunch service every day. It is a fully all-inclusive experience on board. That includes all food, all drinks, alcoholic beverages and non-alcoholic, storytelling from our hosts, gratuities, everything is included on board the train. Now, these train cars are truly luxurious. We actually build these custom from the ground up. So we have 26 of these Gold Leaf train cars that are in our fleet in the Canadian Rockies. We took delivery of the most recent 10 in 2019 and 2020. So there's some brand new ones in the fleet, and all the older ones are updated to replicate the brand new ones as well too. So lots of great Gold Leaf rail cars in the fleet. The other great features here, besides these incredible glass windows and that dining car, is you have this outdoor viewing platform. That's my personal favorite part of the Gold Leaf domes, is you have this beautiful outdoor space where you can go and take in the outdoor scenery, get some fresh air, take photos, and really just have that nice connection with nature as you're passing through the different destinations. I do want to back up and talk a little bit about the meal service. So each one of these Gold Leaf train cars has a full kitchen, a full culinary team, and 4 Rocky Mountaineer hosts in the train car, attending to your every need. So it's an incredible dining experience on board. You order off of a menu for breakfast and lunch each day, and we could also accommodate almost all dietary requirements. So just check with us ahead of time. We'll prepare for you to be on board. If you have any special dietary needs, we can accommodate those. And then as far as the destinations in the Canadian Rockies, you saw a few in the video, but I wanted to point out a couple of the iconic stops. We're looking at Vancouver as kind of the hub for Rocky Mountaineer. That's where the journeys are starting or ending. It's a great place for you to spend a few days. So I do encourage you to do an itinerary that has multiple nights in Vancouver. You also see the cruise port in Vancouver. So Dale's gonna be presenting a little bit later on. There are some great Alaska cruise packages that line up well with Rocky Mountaineer, and Dale has a couple that his company actually offers with us too. So really nice to do Rocky Mountaineer before or after an Alaska cruise. It's an easy pre or post to your Alaska cruise experience. Banff, my favorite city in the Canadian Rockies. Beautiful little mountain town, tons to see and do, very walkable. Great hotel properties, really just a great place to spend a few evenings. And most of our packages do include multiple night stays in Banff, so you could spend those 2 or 3 nights in Banff. Lake Louise, that is the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise, and Fairmont is the biggest hotel partner we have in the Canadian Rockies. So many of our packages are lined up with the Fairmont hotels. This is that iconic hotel that you've probably seen in the postcards. It does really look like that in the pictures. It's not just Photoshop. The lakes in particular, I will give you a piece of advice. So if you want that kind of turquoise blue glacial color in the water, you want to make sure you're traveling, I'd say, just to be safe, mid-June onwards, because the lakes could still be frozen in the region up until the early part of June, depending on how rough the winter was. There's been years I've been there where it's been thawed out in May and early June, and it's fine, but sometimes it's could be a little bit later depending on the winter. Now that said, going in the shoulder season still offers a unique twist on the lake. It doesn't have that turquoise blue color, but you could actually walk out on the lake. You could walk straight across the lake. You can ice skate on the lake. And they do all kinds of activities right on the frozen lake, which is a very unique experience as well. So you can't go wrong with really any of the seasons. Jasper, as I mentioned before, it's a small town, only a few thousand people, but beautiful national park in Jasper. Also beautiful hotel property. There's the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge is there as well too. That's one of the properties we're using. Really a lot of wildlife. Jasper it's a place where you're just walking around downtown and you see elk just roaming around like we have squirrels here in our yard. That's just kind of how common they are everywhere. And then Kamloops, you see this kind of crazy name pop up a lot on our maps. What is Kamloops? Funny name. It's a little town, but it's the halfway point between Vancouver and Calgary, really. And for us, it's an important place because that's where our trains overnight. We always spend one night only in Kamloops. It's a great night to just go out and stretch your legs and enjoy some of the local restaurants and bars. When you go there, make sure you go to the Noble Pig Brew House. That's my favorite place in Kamloops. It's an easy walk from all the hotels, and they've got some great food and drinks for you. But it's a cute little town, beautiful river and park down there. It's just a nice place to walk around. Now that kind of sums up some of the destinations and the Gold Leaf level of service. I wanted to mention another level of train service we have, which we call SilverLeaf. Now SilverLeaf is offered on 2 of our Canadian routes, and it's also offered on our US route. So it's only offered on the first passage to the west and the journey through the clouds in Canada. We don't operate SilverLeaf on that 3-day route up north. Now the big difference between SilverLeaf and Gold Leaf is really just the size of the train cars. So the Gold Leaf car, as you saw, was a double level train car where you're seated upstairs and you go downstairs for the meal service. SilverLeaf is a single level glass dome train car. So you still have those huge windows. The big difference being the meal service is at your seats. There's no separate space to go for the dining experience. Now I have a great video that's going to show you what SilverLeaf looks like in action, especially on the US route in particular. And you know, it's quite stunning. So because it sounds a lot smaller, but it's actually very large inside. The SilverLeaf car itself is 14 feet tall from the wheels to the dome. So you have quite a bit of windows and just huge space on the interior of the car. So it's very easy to move around, very easy to socialize. And it's actually a great way to get around, especially on this US route. That said, the US route is I wanted to go into next. Rockies to the Red Rocks. So we started this route in 2021. We've been looking at expanding our network of experiences into the United States for quite some time. We were looking at a couple different options. This one really fit what Rocky Mountaineer is all about, with the daylight travel, the incredible starting and ending points, the beautiful sightseeing from the train. And we were able to bring our SilverLeaf train cars down to the United States and set up a train yard and an office in Denver to start operating these. And it's been going incredibly well so far. I could actually say that in 2023, the guest experience rating on our new US route came in a little bit higher than our Canadian routes that we've been doing for 34 years. So that's pretty incredible testament to what we've done in such a short time. And we're now looking to expand the train into some further areas off of Moab. Now the dotted green line you see there is actually not a rail experience. Those are options that we have some sightseeing packages to get you up to Salt Lake City or over to Las Vegas, which is really easier to facilitate the flights in and out. Moab does have an airport. They have daily flights from Phoenix to Moab that connect through a few major US cities, but it's not as easy as a place to fly in and out of. The other alternative is Grand Junction, and we have some packages that go through Grand Junction Airport in Colorado as well too, and that's pretty close to Moab. Now the RTR, as we like to call it, it's a 2-day route that runs between Denver and Moab, and Glenwood Springs is the midpoint destination. That's kind of like the Kamloops for us now in the US. It's a cute little mountain resort town known for its hot springs. And you get to experience those hot springs when we arrive in Glenwood Springs, and they have some beautiful restaurants and shops and things to do in the evening upon our arrival day. Now with this SilverLeaf service, we added a new element for the US, just only available in the US, and we call it SilverLeaf Plus. And this video is going to show you the SilverLeaf service in the US plus what the SilverLeaf Plus also looks like. It's a tongue twister. But here, take a look.
We did that part.
So you can see with SilverLeaf, there's quite an incredible amount of space in that SilverLeaf car, even though it's all on one level. It's the nicest train car you will find in the United States, hands down, to travel in. And by elevating your experience with SilverLeaf Plus, you get that elevated dining experience, which is some additional courses that are served. And you also have access to 2 different lounge cars in the SilverLeaf Plus level. One lounge car is set up more of this kind of mid-century modern style. We have a piano player in there. The other lounge car is more of this contemporary style. It's got hardwood floors and that stone bar you see in the background. And when you go into those lounge cars, we have a bartender that's in there full time. We have a unique cocktail menu in those lounge cars. We serve some hors d'oeuvres, but it's really just all about the space. It's nice to have space to go and move around those 2 extra lounge cars while you're traveling. And yeah, I wish we had those in Canada as well. It's something we're looking at incorporating into the product in the future up there, because it's really just nice to have that space and people really love it. So if you do think about the US route, I highly recommend looking at that SilverLeaf Plus option as something to do. And this is just a sample cocktail menu we have. So we try to incorporate, all the destinations we're going to, we try to incorporate the local food and the local drinks as much as possible that are local to the regions we're operating through. And you'll see that with all of our menus. There's different menus on all the different routes, depending if you're going eastbound or westbound. There's different seasonal menus depending on what ingredients are fresh during that time of year. So we have an incredible culinary team, incredible executive chefs that are putting these together. And the same thing goes for the cocktails with our mixologists on board. Now, as far as the destinations here, Moab is, have anybody been to Moab in here? Okay, excellent, we got one. So Moab is fantastic. It's kind of the gateway to the American Southwest, and it's very close and connected to like 5 pretty major national parks. So in Moab proper, you've got Canyonlands National Park, you've got Arches National Park. We're a short distance away from Bryce Canyon and Zion National Park. So you're very close to everything. And with Moab, we're the only train that arrives into Moab, which is a really unique way to get there. So we actually go south off of the Amtrak track line, and we built our own train siding and platform in Moab, right outside of the city center. So it's a pretty unique way to get into Moab. And we have some sightseeing packages that do half-day or full-day sightseeing before or after the train experience, or even the morning of the train departure, depending which direction you're going. And we've partnered with Moab Adventure Center that has a lot of other activities you could do while you're in Moab. Now, Denver is, most of you know Denver, great city, great starting or ending point. And that's been kind of our hub in the US now. So we do enjoy the time in Denver. You could spend a couple nights there before or after your train journey. And then Glenwood Springs, we talked about a little bit earlier. It's known for the hot springs. It's a cute little resort town in Colorado, and that's our midpoint on this route. Now, Salt Lake City and Vegas, those are also part of the add-ons that we have. So again, if you want to fly into one of those destinations, either starting or endpoint for the US route, that could give you some more flexibility with the flights. And we do have some sightseeing transfers between Moab and Salt Lake and between Moab and Las Vegas. I always get this question, when do we travel? When do you guys operate? We operate mid-April to mid-October. So really spring, summer, and fall. You can't go wrong with any of the seasons in either of the routes. They're each pretty unique. You get a lot of wildlife in the spring. That tends to be great for the wildlife sightings. The wildflowers are also blooming in the springtime. You've got the warmer, drier weather in the summer months in both Canadian Rockies and in the US. That is also the more popular tourism season. The fall gives you the fall foliage, and you also get some of those first snowfalls in the region. So each season's unique, and you can't go wrong with any of the three. Now, wildlife is something that is one of my favorite things to do when I'm on board, is to take a look and see what I can spot from the train. And sometimes you get really lucky with some of the wildlife sightings. Black bears and grizzly bears are pretty abundant in the Canadian Rockies. I think I'm batting about 70% on seeing bears from the train of all the times I've been on board. Eagles and osprey you will see flying overhead all along the Fraser River and the Thompson River. So our train tracks hug the rivers really all the way through the regions we operate in. And in the US, we're hugging the Colorado River the whole way. So it is a place where you're gonna see a lot of wildlife. The elk, the moose, the bighorn sheep, the mountain goats, those are all other animals that we're looking for in the Canadian Rockies. And then in the US, it's a little bit different. Wild horses, pronghorns. Colorado is also really known for its bird watching. So there's lots of great wildlife to see there too. And certain times of year, there's the river rafters and the kayakers that are on the Colorado River. So that's a different type of wildlife that we have to look out for, but they're there as well. So I mentioned, I showed you all the rail routes. So we have these different rail routes that are 2-day routes or 3-day routes. Now, how do we actually piece that all together for you and make these packages? So we work with a number of different, that's okay. We work with a number of different ground operators in the region. And we've been partnering with these different ground operators for a long, long time. And they're gonna operate these unique experiences in the destinations. Things like going out onto the Athabasca Glacier on the Ice Explorer, or going on the Banff Gondola, or taking a trip out on Lake Minnewanka, or doing a mountain bike trip in Moab. So we've got a bunch of different partners that we work with in the different regions that you can book some of these packages that include these experiences. Now, as far as the hotels, we tend to match the hotels up with the level of train service. So if you're doing a SilverLeaf level experience on the train, we tend to match that up with the more moderately priced hotels. If you're doing the Gold Leaf experience, we tend to match that up with more of the Fairmont hotels. And we do offer a few different categories of rooms across the packages too. So you could go all the way up to the gold floor level of rooms on the Fairmont if you would like. And then I wanted to talk just a few of these featured packages that we have. So if we look at the packages themselves, this will give you a good idea of what's available. In the brochure, we have some sample packages in there. Our product team is pretty nimble. They're putting together new packages every few weeks and making those available for sale. So some of what you see in the brochure will be on these slides. We'll have some new stuff that might be out next week. I've got some unique music itineraries that we're doing in Moab this year. We just rolled those out last week, so there's a lot of unique product. First Passage to the West Classic. This is a 5-night program. It's going to give you 2 nights in Vancouver, the night in Kamloops, and then 2 nights in Banff and Lake Louise. So it's a really nice package here that's going to give you those multiple night stays before or after the train journey. We've got the Grand Adventure Circle Journey. Now, a circle journey is an experience that we have that actually starts and ends in the same place. So what we like to say is if you want more train days, go for the circle journey, because on a typical 7-day package with us, only 2 of those days are going to be on the train. If you do one of these packages that are 11 or 12 days, that's going to give you 4 or 5, potentially 6 days on the train, depending on the combination of the routes that you're doing. A circle journey will let you see those different routes together. Gives you a lot of time in the destinations, and it gives you a great sightseeing experience on what we call the Icefields Parkway, which is that route between route of travel between Jasper and Lake Louise and Banff. So that's not a rail experience. We do some motor coach sightseeing and some other sightseeing transfers between Jasper and Banff. And then we have this one. This is a new one we just rolled out called the Journey Through the Clouds Pursuit of Discovery. Again, the highlights of these are we're giving you multiple night stays in all of these destinations. So you have plenty of time to unwind when you're there and really get time to experience what the destinations have to offer. And there's lots of sightseeing opportunities that can be done while you're in those destinations. And the Canadian Rockies Circle Journey is a little bit different than the one you saw before. The other one went up all the way through the Rainforest to Gold Rush route. This one goes through Journey Through the Clouds and First Passage to the West, so it combines those 2 routes together into an incredible 10-day package. So again, lots of flexibility with these packages. You could sit down with your travel advisor and they'll find out the best one that's going to fit what you're looking for. Now on the US, we have a number of different packages too. You could just do the 2-day rail and then piece together other experiences on the front end or the back end of the train journey. We also have your Rockies to the Red Rocks excursion with Grand Junction. I had mentioned this is a new one for us. It gives you a little bit more flexibility too with flying into the destination, with Moab having limited flights. Instead, with this one, you could start or end in Grand Junction. We provide the transfers over from Grand Junction Airport to Moab and to the rail station, so it's really a nice turnkey package that includes quite a bit here, as well as the 2-day rail route and some great sightseeing excursions from Moab. And then the Rockies to the Red Rocks at Leisure. This is one of my favorite ones. I did this one a couple years ago. This is the one that runs between Denver and then Moab and then all the way out to Vegas. So we include a sightseeing experience that goes from Moab to Vegas. We actually overnight in Bryce Canyon in between. So as an overnight in between, we've partnered with a great local operator that does an awesome small group sightseeing excursion. You go to Zion National Park and Bryce and have some other great stopovers in between. And then we bring everyone over to the Strip on Vegas. So you get central drop-off point is the MGM. And at that point, you can disperse and go to the hotel of your choice. So we don't include the Vegas hotel anymore. This was something we used to have built into the packages, but everybody wanted to take the hotel off and choose their own hotel. So we just said, you know what, we'll leave it up to your choice. We'll provide central transportation to downtown, and your hotel could be bookable separate, which seems to be much better guest experience. And this is the one I had mentioned that's brand new for us, Rockies to the Red Rocks Sounds of the Southwest. So we partnered up with a unique experience in Moab in particular, where there's 4 different musical venues that are showcased and highlighted during this experience, something we've never really done before. We just have really one departure on this one. It's in September, but it looks pretty incredible. You actually get to experience these outdoor concert settings at these outdoor grottos and outdoor amphitheaters, and there's one floating boat ride outdoor concert venue with some local artists. So it's part of the music festival time of year that they have in Moab, and that one for music lovers would be a good one to check out. Now for our, we have a great offer for the event this evening. So for anybody that's interested in going, we do have an offer that's $200 per couple savings if you book by the end of this month. So just
Wait a minute, by the end of this month.
well, just wait,
Come on, babe.
just wait.
Come on.
But I do want to say we have a bigger one coming. So that's
Okay, good.
the benefit of this one is it's flexible. You could book it on all packages, all dates. There's no restrictions. We have another one that we can do
Well,
for
what's that promotion like?
This
Tell
one's
us
going to
about
be
it.
available on all of those circle journeys. So for those of you that want more rail time and more time on the train and the packages that include all those multiple nights, this is going to be applicable on our circle journeys in Canada and what we call our return journeys in the US. So this is a great offer that goes into place April 1st, and this will be another nice one to have. Additionally, we have offers that are kind of evergreen offers that are ongoing. So once you travel with Rocky Mountaineer, we do repeat traveler discounts. If we have any military, active or retired, we do a military member offer discount as well too. And those are combinable with these market promotions that we have, the offer for the event this evening and this new offer that's coming on April 1st.
Josh, tell me just real quick,
Yeah.
because we might have military in here. Do we know what type of discount the military gets?
Yes, it's $100 per person.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And just in closing, you're going to love the Rocky Mountaineer experience. When you have a chance to travel with us and actually see Rocky Mountaineer firsthand, you're going to understand why we're the most awarded train company in the world. And it's an incredible travel experience. It's a must-do travel experience. It's one of my favorite experiences anywhere in the world, and I've traveled to quite a few places. And Rocky Mountaineer takes care of our guests on board as incredible experience. So just sit down with your travel advisor, and I'm sure they'll find the right one
With
for
the
you.
TravelSmiths travel advisor.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, the reason why I say that is I've been on Rocky Mountaineer twice in Canada and once in the United States. So I was very fortunate to do the United States. I was on the first year when you had it. And you know what? There were some growing pains,
Absolutely.
but I know you've worked it out. And I'm thrilled about the one with the music. That was awesome.
I'm excited for that one too, and
I
it's
know.
our product team is putting together a lot of just new itineraries on the fly, and that's a new one that looks really unique.
And what I loved about Rocky Mountaineer, I started in Vancouver, and it's like I worked my way up to the Canadian Rockies. Truly, it was magnificent. And Kamloops was a great little town.
Did you go to the Noble Pig?
I did.
Huh?
I
See?
did.
I told you.
The food is amazing. And you know what? As you take the rail through, and you have your breakfast and cocktails and lunch and snacks and cocktails and the beautiful scenery. I have to say, silver was lovely. I did gold first because I was on a familiarization trip the first time I did it. And I was in these big, gorgeous gold seats and heated and leaning back. It was April, so it was a little chilly. It was perfect. You go outside, you take your pictures. And then I had to go to silver. I'm like, oh, silver? Well, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. It was beautiful. But I was spoiled. They should have been silver first so I could graduate to gold. But there was all travel agents on there. That's what happened. But both experiences are beautiful. But if you really want that luxurious feeling, gold is definitely the way to
Go for the gold if you're going to do
Go
it.
for the gold.
Go for the gold, and then in the U.S., definitely go for the SilverLeaf Plus. It's
I'm gonna
worth it
jump
for
in.
extra space.
Because you did say multi-nights, so if somebody wanted to take the rail and we go stay over one night in Kamloops, but we want to stay a couple of nights in Banff
Yep.
or over to Jasper, we can do that and then get back on the train and come back, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's something, because people don't realize that when you look at their packages, and you had a lot of action going on up there, and like there's a lot of itineraries.
It's
People
more than
are
just
like this.
it's not just one little train. We have trains simultaneously operating on these routes. One's going up north on that 3-day route, the other one's going east or west, depending on where we're starting from on the other 2 routes, and then they branch off into 2 different consists. So there's a lot happening.
I know.
It's a bigger operation than people realize.
And I love the Moab to Denver. I really
Thank you.
did. Questions, go for it. Go ahead.
You touched on a question that I was going to ask. I'll just make this up. So let's just say we were on the train, we went into Kamloops. I want to stay in Kamloops for 5 days because I want to go fishing. And then get back on the train and complete the rest of it. Is that something that could be worked out?
So the way we're set up with Kamloops and some of the midpoint hotels.
Not Kamloops, but
Say
specifically.
Banff.
but-
Yeah,
but-
so-
So say Banff?
As long as it's not a midpoint. So think of the, I should rewind to the map just for a second, but
Get
the
a map.
midpoint hotels, we can only spend single nights there, just simply because the way our rail operations are. The midpoint hotels are Kamloops, Quesnel, and Whistler. Those are what's considered midpoint hotels in Canada. And in the US, it's Glenwood Springs. Any other destination, you could spend multiple nights.
So if we're in
So the
Banff,
Banff, the
or
Jasper, the
Jasper.
Lake Louise, Vancouver, Calgary, Denver,
question.
Moab, everywhere else.
Question.
It's just the midpoints.
I have a question over here. I'll be back. Hold on, Miss Brittany.
I'm nice and loud if you don't mind giving me.
Come on, cheerleader, make it happen.
How many passengers are in the gold cars versus the silver cars?
Great question. So the gold car is, depending on the configuration, 68 to 72 guests per gold car. The SilverLeaf car is somewhere between 48 and 52.
Okay. Question back here. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there a minimum age for the, you a certain age?
There's not a minimum age. I mean, we don't see a ton of kids. Maybe in the summer months in July and August, you may see a few more families. We are seeing a few more families and some more multi-generational family trips, but there's no minimum age. We recommend it for kids 8 and older, simply because the days on the train could be a little bit long for younger children. We don't have Wi-Fi on board. That's like it or not. I go both ways on that one. I think it's nice that you can disconnect. But,
And I am going to attest to that. There is no Wi-Fi.
and not too much cell service either.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
I think your trains are amazing.
Thank
They're
you.
really beautiful. My question is, if you're on the Silver, can you have that outdoor experience?
Yeah. So there's still an outdoor viewing platform at the rear of all the SilverLeaf cars. It's not as big as the one that's in the Goldleaf cars, but it still has the outdoor experience on both sides. So it's room for, I'd say, 4 people at a time to be comfortably in the outdoor space on the SilverLeaf car. The Goldleaf one would comfortably fit closer to 12 people. So it's just a size difference between the two, but it absolutely has the outdoor space.
And it's probably a different experience because you're down lower.
True.
Where
Yep.
your dining car is down lower with the gold.
Yep.
You're sitting high. My other question is, in one of your pictures, there were 2 engines pulling the train.
Yep.
And I just was curious if that's what it takes to get up the mountains.
It does take a lot of power. You're right. It takes the two locomotives. It does. We're going up some pretty steep inclines, especially when we're going through what we call the spiral tunnels, which is as we're getting into Banff actually. And the train actually winds through these tunnels. It's like a corkscrew inside the tunnel. So when you come out, if you're in one of the front cars, you could actually turn around and look behind you, and down that way you can see the rear of the train. It doesn't even make sense. It looks like a magic trick. But it's a pretty unique way that they kind of carved the way through these tunnels, rather than having to do the switchbacks, which took a lot more time.
Anybody else have any other questions? Oh, here we go.
Do you offer any type of airfare options?
Sally can help you out with the airfare. We don't package anything with airfare through us.
We'll take care of it. Anybody else have questions? Oh, there we go.
Most of the accommodations are at night in hotels.
Yep.
I'm just wondering, is the cost per journey based on is there a single supplement, or is it based on per guest, or double occupancy?
So it's double occupancy, except for the train experience. There's no upcharge for singles on the train. A train seat is a train seat. So the train portion of the journey there's no single supplement. But for the hotels, there is a single supplement, and the amount just depends on which hotel we're looking at.
Anybody else have questions? Okay. You can ask away.
I love the excursions that you offer, but say I go to town and I want to do different excursions. Can I do that? Can I break from?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So we're not really a tour operator. We're really an independent. It's a hosted journey. It's independent, but we package with different tour operators in the area that you can or can't do. You don't have to do any of this. So if there's other experiences that Sally can find for you that you would rather do in the area, that's something you can definitely do. You don't have to opt into any of these packages that we have. I agree.
You heard that, right?
That's a good goal.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Well, Josh, you did a great job.
Well, thank you all. Great questions.
All right, so you've got 2 Rocky
Yes.
Mountaineer books. So how are you
Oh,
going to do
man.
this?
Yeah, I got to come up with some questions. All
All right.
right. I think I gave one away earlier. Let's see, what do we do? First hand up, you have to tell me whose hand up is first.
Oh, God.
I guess, you want to do this?
Oh, my God. All right, I'm ready.
Ready, spot 'em. All right, what was the name of my favorite train route that we offer?
No, you gotta raise your hand. I see no
Hands?
hands. All right, over here. What was it?
First Passage to the West.
Awesome, good job, Rosemary.
So this is a coffee table book, stories from the train from Rocky Mountaineer. Really unique stories in here. Pretty incredible ones.
All right, we have one more book. You better butter it up, baby.
Oh man. All right. Should I make this hard or easy? Let's see. Hard one. All right.
Hard.
All right.
See
What?
if they were listening.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. How many guests are in a gold leaf train car?
Oh, I missed Brittany. Did you know the answer? What is it?
Nailed it. All
All
right.
righty.
Congratulations.
So we have different promotions that are running with Rocky Mountaineer and TravelSmiths, and we are a signature agency, and that's where our other special promo does come through. I know you said that. So please reach out to us. Our business cards are in the Ponant bag. You know where we're located. We're right here. If you don't, we're right at the base of the bridge on Route 88 on the corner of Arnold Avenue and Route 88, or Ocean Road. We're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., but evenings and weekends, we will meet with people. We are an appointment-only agency, so I just like you to be aware of that. So if you call in or if you walk in the office, you need to make an appointment regardless, okay? Because a lot of my team works still from home since COVID, but I still have amazing people still in my office, but they're working on different people. We do charge for our services. We waive them for anybody that comes to our consumer nights. So I just want you to be aware of all of that. Jenna will be answering the phones, but she is going to St. Kitts tomorrow. So Jen and I will probably be answering the phones for the next couple of days anyway. And if you do have one of my travel advisors, because we do have, our website's TravelSmiths.com, and we have our frontline advisors on there. If there's somebody that you've worked with before, I know you guys work with Ashley, my team knows. And if they don't know something about Rocky Mountaineer or Ponant, they're going to ask one of our other team members that specializes in that. Don't worry, we take care of you from the beginning of your trip to when you come home and say you had a fabulous time. It's very important to us. I have this crazy little phone. I think it's right here. It's called the TravelSmith Bat Phone. It's pink, it's loud, and it rings differently when people travel. And we give out that phone number because if there's a problem or hiccup, because unforeseen things happen all the time. Your flight can be delayed or canceled or whatever where you need to go. We take care of that. Don't we, Carol and Fred? We were just on the Royal Clipper ship. They had me right on board, so they didn't need that phone. However, we did have somebody else taking care of that. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Josh. And I'm going to now, I'm not going to introduce you then?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to.
You're missing my video. Just trying to get you in the mood. Hi, I'm Dale, Director of Business Development for the Northeast for Ponant. We don't pronounce the T, and I don't speak French. I've been corrected many times. How many have heard of us? How many have sailed with us? Lots of low-lying fruit, as they say. Lots of opportunity in the audience. So I'm 10 years with the company. We do both expedition cruising and small ship yachting style cruising. We are 35 years in business and we are French flag registry. We're registered actually in Mata Utu, which is in the South Pacific of French islands. We're the only French flag cruise line in the world. So you have to ask yourself, why is that? We're strict, we're expensive, and we're not easy to deal with. And that's what you want as a client, right? You want it safe and clean. And so we're operating beautiful, small ships. And as we build even smaller. We don't go larger. Isn't that refreshing? So that's me in better days. Thank you, Sally Jane and TravelSmiths. for having us and for sponsoring us and for your partnership. And if there are any questions about Ponant, I know I feel like I'm wrapping it up right now, but if there are any questions, I get on the phone with you and Sally. We'll address those questions. You know, if someone in the office doesn't know, you know to call me. That's what's in a partnership. And with luxury products, it's all in the detail, right? We need to take care of our clients. It's the little ship that could, that did, and is still doing. It's how we were founded 35 years ago. We've been serving the American public all along. I'm sorry that you don't know us, but we've been white labeling with companies, tour operators such as Taup World Discovery. You may have heard of them, or Abercrombie and Kent. And so in the last 10 years, when they hired me, we started to go stronger in the US market with a dedicated sales team. So we're still working with those tour operators, and we're also working with Rocky Mountaineer. We have a product developed in Alaska with them. We partner with Backroads as well, and even Disney, Adventure by Disney. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is booking with Sally and booking with us direct, because that's how I get paid. So this is our 3-mast sailing vessel, Le Ponant. Ponant, by the way, in French means westward. And it's where we were founded. We were founded in Brittany. It's all about the story of the company. I'm not going to go into itineraries today. I want to inspire and maybe cultivate some interest on your part in the brand itself. So Ponant was founded by captains coming out of the French Merchant Navy 35 years ago, 1988. We're going to be 36 years in April. It was founded in Brittany on the west coast of France. So that's Ponant. All our ships have names after the constellations. So the sailors are true lovers of the water, exploration, and expeditions. And so that's really the beauty with Ponant. There are lots of beautiful ships out there, but what is the difference with Ponant? It's the itineraries are just gorgeous. So I'll go on. So we are 35 years in business. We are the leader in luxury expeditions, small ship luxury expeditions. There's lots of competition out there, and we are winning all kinds of awards, but because we're French, we don't shout it loud enough. You know, we're very discreet about it, but we have been serving our luxury clients all along since 1988. The company is actually owned by Group Artemis, A-R-T-E-M-I-S, Artemis in Europe. And it's a holding company of many of the luxury brands, fashion that I cannot afford or fit into. But I'm talking Balenciaga, Brioni, Yves Saint Laurent, and Gucci, but also Kering, and then Christie's of London, and also Chateau Latour Vineyards. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying we're debt free. We have built our own ships, we own our own ships, and we operate our own ships. So the quality control is there. And yes, we speak English. I think that's probably a question you're all asking. We are bilingual. And by the way, we don't like to speak a lot. We don't make a lot of announcements. It's very spa-like, very club-like on board. The captain will wake you up and say, dear passengers, and give you the weather report and where we're going, and that's about it. We'll do our briefings on our expeditions in English and then separately in French, never together in one room. And it's all about the zodiacs. That's really what makes the difference in expeditions, right? So we do traditional yacht cruising where we may pull alongside or tender in, but we also do expeditions to far remote locales such as Antarctica, the Arctic, geographic North Pole, New Zealand subantarctic islands, which is almost like the Galapagos, beautiful, Kimberley Coast, Northwest Australia. And so we'll take our clients from the ship by way of Zodiac with naturalists, and that is your tour. There are no malls, no sunning on a beach anywhere, right? It's all about nature unfolding in front of us and having our interpreters, the naturalist guides, with us. So that's an expedition, but we do the best of both worlds. We do expeditions and traditional yachting. But what this slide tells you is that $2 billion in investment over a 10-year period is quite significant in the small ship business. Again, we own our own ships and we built them and we operate them. The quality control is so valuable in that regard. And so we have stakeholders that enjoy and also share the vision of luxury, but also expeditions and keeping us small and scalable. So we've won awards, but I love this one, Condé Nast, because it's a reader's award. The readers of Condé Nast gave us and voted #1 expedition line, #1 ship. And we go everywhere, all 7 continents. We don't have a home port. We have 12 ships, 400 cruises, 450 ports of call, with durations ranging anywhere from 7 days all the way up to 85 days. You can loop around the globe if you wish, around the world, if we can find availability. But yeah, so, and 7 days up to about 85 days, we're touching absolute north with an icebreaker, the only icebreaker in the water today. That is Le Commandant Charcot. It's a hybrid propulsion, liquefied natural gas and electric. And we also have the largest fleet in Antarctica. We have 5 ships in Antarctica. And just 3 years ago, we acquired Paul Gauguin Cruises. I don't know if you've heard of Paul Gauguin. It's a terrific brand and well-known in the States, South Pacific, Polynesia, French Polynesia. And so we acquired that brand as well. But we're in the Great Lakes. Yahoo! We're going Toronto to Milwaukee, 7-day itineraries. We're doing Toronto to Gloucester, Massachusetts. We're doing Central America. I just did Belize and Honduras in November, and I loved it. Got to see pink boa constrictors and howler monkeys in the morning, and we did our scuba diving and also snorkeling in the afternoon at the Blue Hole. Really terrific itineraries. We're in the Indian Ocean. We just came out with a new itinerary, Madagascar, combined with the Seychelles. Really very exotic. So just keep thinking. And if you want something a little more sedate, join Sally to Croatia, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But we are committed to responsible travel, new ships, hardware that we have, advanced wastewater treatments. We just acquired certification by the Green Globe certification. We're the only and the first cruise line to become certified by Green Globe. It's just rewarding us on our efforts, our sustainability measures, and we will be launching a totally net zero ship in 2030. So right now, all cruise lines are just offsetting their imprint. Everything's included: open bar, gratuities, port fees, taxes, like how I dance to it, Wi-Fi. Also, next year, excursions will also be included. So truly all-inclusive. What's not included for sake of transparency? Premium liquor, but our liquor is good. I've had it, and I can tell you it's really good. Spa treatments. You poor things, you have to pay for your spa treatments. Sorry. And transfers. But everything else is all included, all during the cruise. And life on board.
All right.
Ponant. Now you know it means the west of France, right? So yeah, exploring the treasures of the world by sea is what we say in a very casual ambiance. We're not a dressy, shishi, foo-foo, over-the-top luxury. I don't want to scare you away. People hear French luxury and they're like, oh, expensive and dressy. Not us. No jacket or ties are required to enter our dining rooms. You'll find us a very chill, very casual, very international vibe on board. As I mentioned, we do speak English. We speak only French and English, and only those two. We do have butler service for those in our suites, and then room service for everyone else. And we stock our mini bars, or, the mini fridges twice a day. They refresh them. You don't even get that in some of the luxury hotels, right? So we do turn down service. Isn't that nice? And they do make those animals. But we have 12 ships. And real quickly, I'll take you through the fleet. Again, no more than 264 guests on our ships. And with single occupancy, and when we combine 2 staterooms for suites, that brings that total down. So on average, about 220 guests would be the maximum on average. The 3-mast sailing vessel, La Ponant, has just been totally overhauled in 2021. She was built originally for 64 guests, and we brought her down. Can you imagine? Brought her down in size to 32 guests. And she sails in the Caribbean, the Canary Islands, and the Mediterranean Greek islands. Only 32 guests. Can you imagine? Beautiful. And to the right would be what we call the sister ships. You don't have to remember the names. I never do anyway, because it's the itinerary that dictates which vessel we're using. So the sister ships, 4 of those are Polar Class 6. That's very important for when you're going into the ice. The lower the number, the stronger the hull, the thicker the ice the ship can go through. These are Polar 6, and most ships are either a 5 or a 6, and I'll tell you why I'm making a big deal out of it. It's 95% balconies. Almost all of them are balconies, staterooms, 2 bars, 2 restaurants, 2 lounges, and sailing and looping around the globe. But mostly during November to March, we'll be down in the austral summer season in Antarctica. So we're down in Argentina and going over to the peninsula, and then some of the ships will go across the Antarctic Circle, and it's really quite an experience. And then down beneath the sister ships would be the Explorer class ships. We launched those between 2018 and 2020. During COVID, we launched 2 ships, keeping our staff busy and employed. 100% private balconies, again, 2 bars, 2 restaurants, 2 lounges. We have amphitheaters, on all our ships, and also spas on all our ships and full gyms on all our ships. In the gyms, we have the elliptical, we have the cycling, we have stationary bikes, we have the universal gym equipment with the tutorials if you need a tutorial like I do, and free weights, of course, which I don't use. But and so non-smoking on any of our ships, and we are fully ADA compliant. So we have 3 staterooms for those with mobility issues. And then this is the creme de la creme. On the lower left is our newest baby, Le Commandant Charcot. I practiced that a few times, named after one of French explorers. Launched in 2021, and she's hybrid technology, liquefied natural gas, and also electric propulsion. Her mainstay will be the 90 degrees North Pole from Norway, not from Russia. Isn't it great? So we go out of Norway up to 90 degrees north and back. We do northeast Greenland early season when the other ships aren't there yet. We're able, because it's a Polar Class 2. Remember I said lower the number? The stronger the hull, the thicker the ice, tested up to 40 feet of thickness, but on average the ship goes through about 11 feet of thickness in ice. And so it's a working science ship. We have MIT and NASA scientists. We have a residence and scientist in residence program, and this ship, I love to say, has 2 bridges. We have one on the bow, one on the stern, and I could say it in a cheesy way. There's no going backwards with Ponant, because we have 2 bridges. Get it?
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so we have just 30% of the ship is dedicated to public use, because we're in the ice a lot. And what to do with our clients, get them out of their staterooms, out into these public areas. We do lectures, we do science experiments. No, not on you, but we just do it on nature. We collect samples and all that. And then we get out on the ice and we do our pole dancing at the North Pole, and we do ice fishing in Greenland. We have an optional cross-country trek of 10 miles with dog sleds, pulling our provisions and setting up camp overnight. Ooh. And then we get to really meet the locals, right? We have the shamans and the elders of the communities come on board. So if you've ever done river cruising, anyone done river cruising here? Similar to river cruising, we connect with the destinations, we get the stories told by those locals, we connect further with the places we're visiting, and it's really a beautiful experience. And look at this baby. This is the ship coming out in 2030. Again, we're founded by captains, and these are their toys. This is a totally net zero vessel, wind powered and solar. And so she'll be coming out. The name of the project is Swap to Zero. And so keep an eye out on that through Sally and TravelSmiths. So the Explorer class ship, Sally, this is the ship you'll be on next summer to Croatia. This Ponant Explorer class ship, there's 6 of those, 100% balcony, a very casual vibe, if you can see, kind of like how I want my house to look like. Kind of IKEA, but maybe a little more sophisticated with original artwork and the like. And we have an underwater lounge, biomimetically designed. There's that word I love, biomimetically mimicking nature.
I can't
this
wait to go
case-
in that.
Yeah, so I hosted in November in Belize, Honduras. We did an ABBA night down underneath, and we didn't see any fish because the ship was going too fast. But there are 2 huge windows, the portals, where when we're stationary, we can see fish coming up to us in a full-service bar down below.
Oh, wow,
and it's
I
not
love
as
it.
if we're in an aquarium, but that we're the whale itself, picking up sights and sounds of the marine life. So we have hydrophones on the back of the ship that will pipe in that sound.
Oh,
And when
wow.
we do pick up from the cameras, we'll have it broadcasted on the big screens. And for those that don't want to go below the waterline, because there are some guests that claustrophobic, just stand over your balcony and look down. And at night, the light is lighting up the water, and you see the fish coming right up to the window. So it's really cool. So it's called the Blue Eye Lounge. It's the world's first and only. We don't believe in submarines, and we don't believe in using helicopters because it's intrusive. So we have our Blue Eye Lounge. And I'll just give you a little bit of a video clip to give you an idea what it's like. Sally, you gotta watch
That's
this.
the hotline. TravelSmiths, Sally speaking. Can I help you? No, this is Sally. May I help you? Are you? Yes, this is TravelSmith. This is the hotline. May I help you?
That's the art installation. Jelly.
Hi, John Whalen. Is there a problem? Okay. Are you traveling yet? Hi, Chris.
Did you see it?
So I could text her to see if she's still in the office. Hold on 1 second, honey. Hold on, let me check. Hold on, let me just text her real quick. You said
Did you
Chris
see
and
it?
John Whalen, W-H-A.
Oh, good. I was like, where's that darn penguin?
Hold on,
It
baby,
was
hold on,
New
hold on,
Zealand
hold on, let me just
sub-Antarctic
go look.
islands where we saw the
Alright.
penguins, not in Antarctica. That the Explorer ship is not a polar class ship.
Well,
so it
she
goes
still
into
might be
warmer
there because
waters.
she works late.
But it does do
Spell
it
your
like-
last name,
A little
Chris,
bit
for
about
me.
Le Commandant Charcot, as I mentioned, polar class 2, 7 times stronger than any other vessel that's out there, powered
Beautiful.
by electricity and liquefied natural
Just
gas,
call
and certified by
if
the Bureau de
you
Veritas as
are
being a
in,
super clean rating,
please
and just some images, really
them
impressive with a helicopter. I said we
If
don't use
not,
helicopter for passenger
call
use.
tomorrow.
We do have 2
If
helicopters
not,
for
call
safety
tomorrow.
and for surveillance,
Perfect.
right, to survey the ice conditions.
All right,
Look
honey,
at
I'll
this.
have her call you.
Anyone know Blue Lagoon in Iceland? This is our Blue Lagoon on Le Commandant
That's okay.
Charcot. It's
She'll help you.
inspired by the Blue Lagoon. What's that?
That's okay.
Oops,
If
what
she's
happened
in,
all of a
honey,
sudden?
she'll call you tonight. If
Sally's
not,
told me to keep
I
it
promise
going.
you she'll call you
Everything's
tomorrow.
all heated,
She doesn't usually
and
come
everything's
until after 12.
repurposed. All the steam from the engines are reused.
Thanks,
All the
Chris.
benches and
Bye-bye.
the banquettes
Bye,
and
John.
beautiful outdoor activities. Again, keeping our clients busy and active. And we have our polar bear. We have the circumnavigation of Antarctica. You do get a parka. We do provide the parkas. And then we're keeping the ship this winter in the Northern Hemisphere, which is really different and pushing the envelope. So we'll be doing the Christmas markets in Scandinavia. We'll be doing Northeast Greenland, and we'll be doing the St. Lawrence Seaway also. We're doing the polar lights from the icebreaker too in October and in December. That's really my dream. I'd love to go see the polar northern lights from the ship. And it's all about our partnerships and alliances. What I love is our alliance with Smithsonian Journeys. It's our 3rd year now, and these are done totally in English. We have guest speakers, 2 guest speakers with us on each departure, and we do include transfers and everything else, all the sightseeing. And it was designed specifically for the American traveler, and this is the lineup. You can't read it, but the brochure's in your bag. I suggest giving Ponant a chance. These are wonderful, immersive type experiences with terrific world-class speakers. And I love the circumnavigation of Sicily. I like the Scottish Isles with Norwegian fjords. I like New Zealand. We're doing both North and South Island of New Zealand. We're doing also Southern France and the Italian Riviera. And then we have a culinary program from Malta up to Livorno. And we are working also with the Explorers Club in New York. So we have modern day explorers joining us, such as a shark scientist, Diego Cardenosa. We have a young lady who has circumnavigated Antarctica on her own on a sailboat who will come and tell her story as
Oh my
well.
gosh.
And then we'll continue with our photo ambassador program too. So we have Ian Dawson, we have Sue Flood and Cindy Miller Hopkins. And whoa, is that a photo ambassador there? I think not. I think that's my partner in crime, Sally Jane, who will be exploring the natural wonders and cultural jewels of Dalmatia. So sailing next July from Venice to Dubrovnik. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I'm so excited.
I know. I like that flyer.
Go ahead.
And we'll do a mailer too. We just got to work on some pre and post options.
Yes, of
And
course.
we'll put that into our 3-panel mailer. This is just a teaser sheet that you have in your bag. We put that together real quickly. But we'll be doing Venice along the coast of Croatia, Dalmatia, down to Dubrovnik. And so think about that, under $5,000, 7 nights, all inclusive. Open bar, the liquor's good, remember, gratuities, port fees, taxes, and Wi-Fi, and shore excursions in each port. Unbelievable, with only 170 guest maximum capacity. So keep that in mind as something. In July, I think it gets really hot here, doesn't it?
It does, and it's so much more beautiful over there.
I just moved from Connecticut to Delaware, big move, right? But it took me 3 hours this morning to get up here. And I know that it gets really hot in Delaware. I don't think I went outside last summer, but keep that in mind. Thank you, Sally Jane. But I do want to also just talk about our offers. We do have an evergreen offer where the earlier you book, the better savings is realized, up to 30% off. We also waive single supplements on many of our departures. Last I checked with
Let's
you.
talk about that.
150 departures with absolutely no single supplements.
So what that means is if the state limit is $5,000 a person, if a single person wants to go, if it's on one of those 150 sailings that we have, that one person pays $5,000. They don't pay $10,000. They don't pay $7,500. There's no single supplement.
Our demographic is so important. You know, on average, our age is about 62, but we go much higher in age. We have a lots of widows and widowers. And we also have great millennials and anti-cruisers and those that are first to brand and first to cruise because they love the intimacy of the vessel. Now, the staterooms are not huge. They're
How big is the stateroom?
210 square feet,
That's fine.
but it's smartly designed.
Of course it is.
And then there's a 45 square foot balcony, so you can always go out there. Buy a suite, book a suite with 390 square feet plus a 90 square foot balcony.
Take my bone up.
And Sally, listen up, if you
Go
could
ahead.
send someone from your office to my dinner on Tuesday, I'm being
Out in
recorded.
Philadelphia?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm hosting like a trade event, and this special really is for the trade, but I'd love to extend it to you all.
So tell me.
And that is if you book by April 30th, any departure, except for Smithsonian journeys, unfortunately.
Of course, I had to put that disclaimer.
Because they don't like to. $750 per person air credit, but you don't have to buy the air. I know.
What does that mean? So explain
It's
to us what
taken
you're
off the
saying.
invoice. It's a $750 per person discount. Savings, savings.
A great value. So if we book something, not a Smithsonian, starting on
Tuesday. Well,
Tuesday.
no, I want someone from your office to come to the dinner.
I will make sure someone goes.
How far is Devon? An hour and a half? I think.
Want to go? I
Okay.
got one. I got a car.
Okay, good. Then I can put them on my list and then I can say, yes, they have clients for us. And
Jamie and I will go. We will sacrifice and go for you.
I would love for you and to welcome you, whether it's with Sally J next summer or, you know, we have 400 departures. There's got to be something out there for you, and really small, beautiful, intimate vessels. Just a little bit about myself. I'm in business 40 years. I've done everything except for car rentals and travel agents, but my love and my passion for the
Thank
last
God you
15
haven't
years
done that.
has been with expeditions. You know, I went from the airline. I worked for Virgin Atlantic Airways, which is a great product, and my first expedition was to Wrangel Island, Siberia. Who goes to Siberia and enjoys it? Who goes to Siberia and pays to go to Siberia? A lot of clients do, and when I did it, I just really was humbled by the whole experience because you know what? It's not about me.
Well, that's a lie.
And we're but a speck on this earth. And you know, when you look at the North Pole, 90 degrees north, there have been more launches to the moon than there have been cruises to the North Pole. Launches and cruises, not people. And sub-Antarctic islands in New Zealand is just about 600 people a year go there. So we're taking our clients and our guests to very far remote areas, but we do have also more traditional cruising. We do the Med, we do the Caribbean, there's something for everyone. So think small. In my world, size matters, smaller is better. Thank you all so much.
You know what, Dale? You did it great. Dale, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Your product is absolutely amazing. And what we wanted to do tonight was to educate you. We wanted to educate you on Rocky Mountaineer. We wanted to educate you on Ponant. Because a lot of people don't know. I know you had raised a hand. Does anybody know? Did anybody know about Ponant before they came in here? All right, 1, 2, 4. So 4. So this is why I do these. We started these last June. And if you find us, we email blast out to you. We do the.
I worked for a competitor, and I had no idea about Ponant, and they were a direct competitor. And so when my company was moving to Canada, one of my clients said, go see so and so at Ponant. I said, what's that? Where are they? So here I am.
But
Thank
they're
goodness.
boutique
10 years
ships.
with Ponant. Yeah.
They're boutique ships. And
Boutique, yep.
they're reasonable for the value of what you deliver.
You're never more than 2 decks away from an area that you need to go to, which I love, rolling out of your bed and just being able to just get your breakfast or go to a lecture or go to the spa. Everything's quintessentially French on board. We have our own scent, not that that's a big deal, but the French fabrics, the sheets, the curtains, diptyque toiletries. We have lingerie macaroons, Veuve Clicquot house champagne. It goes on and on and on. So, yes.
You have the food.
Did I pronounce that right? And I hate that I'm being recorded.
That's all right.
It's going to go back to headquarters.
It's all right. It's fast.
It's all good.
Who has questions? Does anybody have questions? Anybody? Oh, here we go. Sit.
Just curious.
Oh, curious is good.
Just curious. In the event you had some sort of a health issue, what would happen?
And it does happen. It's not unusual. Yeah, so we have a full medical facility. Of course we do on each and every one of our ships. A doctor full-time and 2 nurses on each of our ships. Well, it depends on what happened to you.
Kayaking. She's going to be kayaking at every port.
But it depends on what happened to you, right? We haven't talked about that. So, God forbid. But there are ships, especially in Antarctica, christening and crossing. So we might put you onto a ship that's going back to land. It depends. Most of our voyages are coastal, hugging the coast, and there are cities. But you're speaking the extreme if you're in North Pole or Greenland or Antarctica. Go with Sally to Croatia. You're never far from a city.
There we go.
We're hugging the
I
coast.
promise you kayak. Anybody else?
Thank you for that question.
Questions, curious statements?
What's an average expedition cost?
Oh, an average expedition's
Given
probably
me how many nights, though?
10 nights. It's
10 nights.
probably 10,000
Per person.
per person, all inclusive. And don't forget, expeditions we file for permissions, right, to go into these national parks and these landing sites. And we are small, so we go ashore with Zodiac. Some of the larger ships do not. And we're one of the founding members of IATO, which is the International Antarctic Association of Tour Operators. And so it's a self-governing body where we all buy into the rules. And so we've set the standard along with 2 of my competitors, yeah.
Great question. Anybody else have a question?